The video you're about to watch is the tagging game, and this is a way that you can implement something at home so that everybody picks up after themselves. It works really beautifully. I did this for many years with my 5 kids from many age levels. This is part of my Tidy Tutor Masterclass. If you want to get it together at home, then that class is your ticket. I have made it available so that no matter your income, you can afford it. Click on the link in the description box or here on this page and get started today. In this video, we're going to talk about the tagging game. What the tagging game does is it stops that unconscious clutter from accumulating all over the house. And it also stops you from being a nag of saying, pick up your stuff to everybody all the time. And also stops you from having to be a person that is always putting out fires all over the house, cleaning up after everybody. So here's how it works. If somebody leaves something out, then whoever it is that sees it there tells the person that they're going to tag them if they don't take care of that mess. So here's an example. Let's say Judy just got done with a bowl of cereal at the kitchen table, okay? She gets up and she walks away. There's a box of cereal out, there's the bowl, there's the milk, there's the spoon, and there's the mess next to the bowl where some milk dripped off, okay? So now I go in there and I say, Judy, you left your cereal in there and I'm going to tag you if you don't get it. Now, Judy has a short period of time to take care of that mess. And if she doesn't, then I tag her for each item. And it's according to how much, because it's a fine, how much you're going to decide each fine is going to be. Now, some families, it's $1 per item. I think that's kind of high, but it all depends on the income and the average age of the person, the people that live in the home. Generally, 10 cents, 5 cents, a quarter for each item. Okay, so let's just say 10 cents. So you have a box of cereal, you have a bowl, you have a spoon, you have a mess, and you have the milk. So that would be 50 cents. So the person that cleans it up tags them 50 cents. So you have a sheet of paper on the refrigerator, or a bulletin board if you have a bulletin board in your house, and you have the members of the family's name on that paper so that there's space underneath their name for a list of tags or fines to go on. Mom and dad are part of that list, okay? Kids can find their mother and their father, okay? So the incentive for anyone to clean up somebody else's mess and tag them is that the person that has the least amount of fines wins all the money, okay? The person that is incentivized to clean up their mess when somebody tells them, you know, about, look, you left a mess and I'm going to tag you, is that they have the possibility to lose. So now here's how this is going to work if you have family members that have no money. You have to give an allowance so that they can have the money to pay. Now, if you don't like this, please bear with me. This is pretty amazing, and it's like having a housekeeper. It's like paying for somebody that comes in to clean, only it's not that much money. Because let's say you give $5 per family member of allowance, okay? So you have 4 people in the family, 5, 10, 15, 20 bucks is what you're putting out every week. Now, here's what you got to do, though. You have to take that money and put it in an envelope on the refrigerator so that they know they've got that money. It's their money. And make sure they're in singles, okay? So if you give them $10 a week, it's, you know, of course, going to be 40 bucks instead of 20 bucks, right? And $1 per, you know, whatever it is you've decided. So 5 single dollar bills or 10 single dollar bills. Okay, of course, if you're in a different country, then whatever it is that you call your money, right? So you have it on the refrigerator so that they know it's their money. They know they're going to get it. And then you have to pay them, okay? So say every Friday is allowance day. You say, okay, guys, it's allowance day, and it's also our tagging day that we're going to divvy up the add up the tags and see who won. So you give everybody their money. This can't be where you don't give them their money, because then it's like they don't feel any sense of loss, and it's like, well, what do I care? Mom's paying them for me. I'm not going to clean up the mess. You want to make them feel the ownership of having that money. Now, of course, you and your significant other or any grown adults that live there and have their own money, you're not going to give them an allowance, right? They pay out of their pocket, and this is what they do for living in the house. This is like, well, we all live here and we need to clean up after ourselves. So if you don't, there's going to be a fine. And this is how it works. So now let's say you add it all up, right? You give them all their money. They have their money. You add it all up, and Judy wins. She only got $1, and everybody else got $2, $3, $5, right? Whatever. If I got charged $5, I have to give $5 to Judy. Judy doesn't have to give anybody anything. She won. If Joey was fined $2, he gives $2 to Judy. If Daddy got fined $10, he has to give $10 to Judy, right? So Judy can stand to make a nice little profit by being neat and tidy, right? And, of course, everybody really will do the tagging game, because everybody stands to lose and win. Okay? Now, the chances of you winning are really kind of small, because we really do have this unconscious habit of leaving stuff. Even with the Mississippi game that we play, where, we count Mississippis before we leave a room, it's kind of happens sometimes, right? Because we're talking about not only just like a mess that we made, but our purse on the back of a chair. Where does that purse belong? A book that we read, and if it doesn't belong on the end table, where does that belong, right? So that's the way this goes. It helps everybody remember and to be conscious of their unconscious messes that they leave behind them and clutter that they've got going on. You take off your shoes, you put them away. Judy, your shoes are here in the hallway, and then you give Judy a little bit of time to go get them, okay? Now, if Judy's in the bathroom, then Judy could say, I'm still working on that puzzle, or I'm still playing that game, I'm still doing that craft, I'm in the bathroom, right? If Judy went out, that's it. You clean it up, you tag her, right? So that's the way that goes. I'm going to give you some heads up with this. They are really going to get a little bit competitive with this, okay? You have to make sure that when you write down what you charge them for, like, you can't just write 25 cents underneath Joey's name. You have to write 20 cents, 2 shoes, okay? You want to make sure that you write 40 cents, cereal bowl, spoon, milk, and cereal box, right? You want to make sure you do that, because otherwise there's going to be fights, all right? We don't want fights. There's going to be, he said that I did this and I don't even know what he's talking about. I wasn't even home that day. If you write down what it is, there isn't going to be any of that. Another thing too is it's going to really keep the house nice and neat. And you are going to be tempted to not tag somebody, because you're going to say, oh, they're doing such a good job. I don't want to punish them by tagging them. I'm so happy that they're picking up after themselves. I'm just going to clean it up. Don't do that. Once they see that mommy's just going to clean it up, they're going to stop taking the game seriously, and they're not going to clean up after themselves. Another thing about this is the first week, it is not going to work. They are not going to think it's serious. They haven't experienced it before, and they're going to say, I ain't cleaning after him. I'm not cleaning up after you. Or if you start to tag them, they're going to say, I'm not going to do it. Just let mommy clean it up, okay? At the end of the first week, when they get their money and then they feel it leave their hand to have to pay the person that won, that's when they're going to get serious. And the second week, it's going to be plugged into your everyday normal routine, okay? But remember that, okay? So don't get discouraged that, oh, this isn't going to work for my family. Look, they're not doing anything. They're not going to do anything the first week, okay? So there's that, the tagging game. It was invented by Pam Young, Peggy Jones. In Side Talk Home Executives, they discovered this because Peggy's husband was a police officer, and this is how they discovered that people moved their cars because they would get fined for them. And so that's how this game was discovered, and I've implemented it for many years, and I'm telling you it works. In the beginning, you're going to go full force with it, and then you're not going to need it anymore. You're going to feel like, all right, we don't have to do it. And then they're going to start to leave their stuff around again. And that's when you announce, all right, I'm putting up the tagging sheet again. Everybody scrambles to pick up their own stuff and stuff like that, and you start it again. And so it goes on and off like that on a regular basis until the time comes that you really don't have to do it anymore because they're in the habit of picking up after themselves. Okay? So that's the tagging game.
Betty wrote this on a Facebook group for me to share. I just want to say that the Tidy Tutor, Kathy Roberts, has given me hope and joy when I really kind of thought I was hopeless. I know the Lord has a purpose for me, but I'm struggling to find it now that I'm retired. I strongly recommend that anyone having a hard time keeping up and getting or staying organized listens to some of her videos on YouTube. There are lots of free ones. But if you have the ability to pay for her course and the Insiders group, it's truly like finding a family that understands and accepts you just the way you are, while helping you become who you were meant to be. I love that so much. You know, when people signed up for my course, they said, I thought this was going to help me get my house together. It actually helped me get my life together. It is so much more than an organizing course. But here's the thing. When Betty signed up, my course was $497. I have it available now as pay from your heart. Pay what you can. The reason for that is that it has transformed so many people's lives. It's become a ministry to me. I don't want to hold this back from anyone who needs it. So, if you can't afford it, don't let that stop you. And if you can afford it, I surely appreciate you supporting my work and paying it forward to those who can't. I'll see you on the inside.